Welcome in. Today we're taking a look at an expansion to a very popular game, and that is Cascadia Landmarks. This is the first expansion for Cascadia. This is going to be kind of a two-part video. First, I'm going to give you a playthrough of a game of Cascadia with the expansion, and then I will come back and give you some of my thoughts on the expansion. So what this expansion adds for Cascadia is you've got more tiles, you've got the ability to now play the game with up to 6 players, which doesn't matter a ton, obviously, if you're playing it by yourself, but if you do want to play with the bigger group, you have that option. But it also adds landmarks, and the landmarks module is the big part of this expansion. So how does the landmarks module play, and what do I think of it? Let's take a look. Okay, so here we have a game of Cascadia with the landmarks expansion ready to go. If you've seen Cascadia before, you know it's not a very big setup, especially when you are playing solo, so this is all that you need to play a game of Cascadia. Now, I'll explain some things about the landmark expansion while we go through this playthrough, and then also give you some more thoughts in my review after we're done doing a playthrough of Cascadia here today. So, in the landmarks expansion, what you also start with is a keystone tile that you add to your starter tile. So in the solo mode, you just flip over these stacks until you find a keystone tile, and the first one that you find, you just put it, anywhere that you want in your starter area. So that's what I've already done here. You can see mine has a fox on it. So in Cascadia Landmarks, the big thing that is added with the Landmarks module is that now we are also really focused on the landscapes in addition to the animals. So once we get 5 connected areas of one particular landscape, that's going to allow us to take a landmark card for that particular type of terrain. So, once we have 5 forests that are all connected together, we get to pick one of these 2 goal cards here, which this scores for each forest corridor, this scores for each elk on a forest, and then you put this on the tile that you just placed. So that's really the only big difference. The other thing that the expansion comes with is more tiles, so now you can play up to 6 players for Cascadia. You've also got more tokens, obviously, that go in this bag here, and you've got more scoring cards too. So we're using 2 scoring cards from the expansion, and then 3 scoring cards from the base game of Cascadia. So this fox is a new scoring card here, which you can see the scores for each fox, the number of unique adjacent habitat types, and for this hawk here, this scores for each pair of non-adjacent hawks with direct line of sight to one another. So with that, we are ready to go. So the Cascadia is a very quick game if you haven't watched it before. It's very snappy turns, especially when you are playing solo. So we will just pick a tile, obviously, and then a marker that is beneath it, a token to put on our board here. So I'm going to take this one, and we'll see if we have to adjust any camera stuff during the game, because the thing with Cascadia is you never really know which way you're going to build. So put that elk on there, and then in the solo mode, what you do is you take whichever ones are furthest away from the pile, which going left to right, you just take that token and you take that tile and you remove them from the game, and then you slide everything down. So like this would be the next, if we don't pick this one this turn, that would be the next one to go. So you just grab some more tiles, some more tokens out of the bag. You could scratch it here or refresh these because you have 3 eagles, but I'm actually going to take an eagle because it's on a keystone tile, and also that will help me out. So we're scoring for each pair of non-adjacent hawks with direct line of sight to one another. So I think it'd be smart if I put one down here, because then I could put one up there at some point later on in the game. So we get our nature tile here. This is going to allow you to basically take any tile and any token that you would want on your turn. They don't have to be beneath one another to be able to use that. If you have a nature token, you can spend it, and that will allow you to take, whatever one you want. So then these go away. We slide this down, this gets slid down, and now we continue. And this is all you do. It will get a little more thinky as we go on, because we'll have more kind of animals and things out here on the board. So our salmon, they're going to score for each run per salmon. So it doesn't matter. We're doing a long run in this game, so the A scoring card. So I think because I have a salmon right there and a salmon right here, I will actually put this. Is there a way that this can touch this and also touch that? Yeah, like that. So we will put that like that, and then we'll take that salmon and put it right here. So this bear goes away in that tile there. And you flip 2 more over. We've got a mixture of tiles here that are from the base game and then also from the expansion in terms of what we're using here. So you just mix them all together. You don't have to keep them separate. And so they'll just pop up randomly for this game of Cascadia. So now we've got another option here. I think we will take this next and put it right here. Then put our hawk there. And now our hawks are in line of sight with one another. And the line of sight thing with the hawks is probably the hardest thing to distinguish in this game. You could also say that that would be line of sight. That's one thing that really, you know, people do struggle with in Cascadia is like, how are the hawks lined up in terms of their line of sight? I'm going to consider that a line of sight, though. That is a straight line from there to there. So we will score for that at the end of the game. So remove that. You take 20 turns in the solo mode, and 20 turns in any version of Cascadia that you're playing. But again, when you're playing by yourself, you're going to take 20 turns. So it's not going to take all that long here. So we've got some more options now of tiles that we can select and see what we're going to do here. So this is a little bit interesting. I guess the fox is going to score for the number of unique habitats it's next to. This one is next to 3. So we'll take this. And this has now triggered because we have 5 connected here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It allows us to take a scoring card for the forest. So when you do that, what you do is you take this and you put it on the tile that you just placed. So that will go right there. Instead of an animal, that's going to have this landmark on it now, this tree, which these are all wooden too. They're very nice. And then you can put the token that you took on another tile. So we're going to put that on this particular tile right here. That's also a keystone tile. So we get a nature token for that. Now we get to pick out one of these 2 scoring cards. It's very early in the game, but we could score for each forest corridor, which right now we only have 1, or we could score for each elk on a forest. I think we'll go for the elk on a forest because we already have 1 and we have the opportunity to get more. So you just keep that next to you down here. This one stays up here, but you won't be able to grab it because you can only take 1 landmark type per game. So like we can only do the forest, you know, that only happens once with the forest. But if we get 5 mountains next to each other, or the rivers, or the prairie, then we would get another scoring card and another landmark to add to our board. So just slide these down, throw these out. Again, this is all you're doing. It's a very quick game, especially if you want something that just is really easy to play. So here we go. This makes a lot of sense to take this one because we're going to score for elks on the forest, and that's an elk that is a forest right there. So I think we will take that one unless we wait till the next turn to take that one, which we also could do because we've got some salmon here and we want to get more salmon going for our run. So that's the thing you're constantly thinking about is, should I take the elk? Should I wait because I know it's going to be there still the next turn? Or should I take it now, see what else comes out? That's the decisions that you're making in this game. So we're going to go ahead and take this. And again, the thing with Cascadia is you don't have to put it on, you don't have to put the animal on the tile that you take. So we're going to put the tile over here because it's going to start doing that. And we're going to put the salmon right there. So these will go away. These will slide down. We will pull another one for that, and we'll pull another one for this here. So we have 3 elk. We could wipe it if we wanted to and refresh, but again, we want to take the elk, so we're going to definitely take this one now, and we'll just connect it. Probably not there because I kind of want my salmon to go that way. We'll probably put it over here. So I'll just put it right here. Put that on there, you get another nature token here, and then these go away. And just flip, pick, add it to your habitat, and then continue. So, okay. What do we want to do here? We have another elk. We're scoring for elks that are next to each other, which we're not doing a very good job of right now. So I think what I might do is take this tile. This kind of makes our prairie area bigger here. And we now have that elk that's right there. And that'll be 5 points at the end of the game per this scoring card. And if we get another one right here, it will be 9 points. So this goes away. We slide down once again, pull some things out of the bag. Cascadia, while you can play it online, I really like to play it, as we're continuing to go here, I really like to play it physical version because it's so tactile. The little tokens are really fun to pick up. These are really fun to pick up. And just the process of like building this out is cool. So let's see here. What do we want to do here? Well, I think we will take this one because this will allow us to get our, that's 4 right there. So if we get another one, we get to take a scoring thing for the wetlands. And that also extends our salmon out there. So get rid of those. Continue to move these down. I can usually get a solo game of Cascadia done in about 20 to 25 minutes, which is kind of what we're tracking for right now. Obviously, I'm explaining to this to you as we go, so it's going to be taking a little bit longer than it would normally. But if you've got the game down and if you're fast at it, then you can get this knocked out pretty quickly. Okay, what now? Let's see. I'm looking here, trying to find an option that would make sense. Now I could spin one of these too and take something and pick up a different one. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do though. I think we'll take this one. We'll put it here and then we'll put the elk on it. So now we've got three elks there like the scoring card wants. So get rid of this. Sliding once again. And I'm pulling these out. So we'll continue to evaluate here. I think we'll take this. Oops. I think we will spend a token to take this one and this one. So we'll put that up there. But we're going to put this here. Because now we have another adjacent. Oh, to only one other hawk. Okay. We don't want to put that there. Because that'll screw up our scoring there. I guess we'll put that. We'll put that over here, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. That can go there for right now. So then this one goes away, and then this one actually goes away when you do that. So then you just slide these down again. Pull these out. Getting close to the end here. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're about halfway through the game right now. We've got a lot of salmon out there, and I do need some more salmon to make a little run with. So I think we will take a salmon, and we'll put this here. Now, we cannot put the salmon there because we now have 5 of this wetlands area. So now we could put this somewhere else, or we could just put it back in the bag, which is what we'll do for this particular purpose. So we now get a wetland token here. That goes there, and then we get a scoring card of our choosing. Combine the 2 largest wetland corridors when scoring, or score for each bear and each elk on a wetland. Well, I don't have any bears or any elks on wetlands right now, so it would make sense to probably take that card. That way we can score with that. So this will go away, as we've been doing here. Slide those down. These do like to tip over a little bit. So we'll continue here. Pull more tokens. The cool thing too about Cascadia is you never know how you're going to build this out. Like, this is the direction that we're going right now, but I had a game just yesterday where it went vertically like this. I've had one where it's like really gone off this direction. It just depends on how the tiles come out and where you want to like put things. So what are other scoring cards? Bears need to go next to bears, but not next to other bears. We don't have any bears right now. We have salmon, we have a fox, we have some elk. Not a lot of bears are coming out in this game. So it might make sense to take this one. We can do a snowy thing up here and put our bear there, and then see if we can get some more bears that are around it. Groups of bears with no other bears next to it. It's another bear. Could use a token to get it. Let's see here. This would be a good spot for a fox to go right there, so that we can score for the number of adjacent habitat types that the fox is near, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, because you don't count the tile that it's on. So that would probably be a good scoring move here. So I think we'll take this one. We'll make this touch over here. So now we've got four snowing areas that are mountains areas that are touching together, and we'll put the fox here. So the foxes do not matter in this game if they are next to each other. Just so happened that's how it worked out. Got some more tiles coming out. And another salmon. So what areas do we still need to get? We need mountains, we need water, and we need prairies. We've got 3 prairies so far, but that would have to have us start a whole new salmon thing over here if we did that. It's better to build on your current one for this particular scoring card. We have 4 mountain areas next to each other. Could take that, but we have nowhere to put a bear. So I think what we will do is, man, this is a tough decision here in terms of what we want to do. I think we'll go ahead and take this one, and we'll just not be able to do the bear there, unfortunately. But because that is now 5 mountains that are connected to each other, we get to put the mountain landmark right there. And we get points for each pair of occupied mountain keystone tiles, or for each hawk on a mountain. Well, that's a keystone tile. That would be a keystone tile, but would score our scoring up there. So I think we'll take this one for each hawk on a mountain. So that goes there. Get rid of this. So you can see with the landmarks expansion, and with this module in particular, it's a little more thinky than base Cascadia. Because base Cascadia, while the landscapes matter, you're really more concerned about the animals and how the animals are lining up. But this gives you some landscape things to think about too. So just adds a little bit more strategy into the game of Cascadia. This would be a really good spot to put a fox down, because it's got a couple of different areas that it's touching there. So I think that's what we will do. I think we will take this one and this one, and we'll put that right there. Put the fox on there, so now it's touching a couple of different landscape types. You take another one of those tokens. There's more tokens in this too that come with the game, just so you're aware. I just got 5 out because I have never really had a situation where I've had to... That bear was there, right? Sorry, I'm moving stuff. Never really had a situation where I've had to use more than that, but we'll see in this game. We've got 4 right now. We'll see if we get any more than 5. without spending one. Got some more hawks. We could put another hawk over here. And then that would allow us to have a line of sight between these two hawks. Then there'd be a line of sight between these two hawks. And so that would be good for scoring purposes, because that's 7 points for every pair. I think we will do that. I think we will take this, put it over here, and now we're going to score for those hawks and for those hawks. They're lined up there. This goes away. Our plan to, big grand plan, oh, we're supposed to get this too. Our big grand plan to build our salmon out hasn't really worked for this game because we only have a few turns left because these piles are getting quite low. We have some more foxes out. We have prairie. We kind of locked our prairie in there unintentionally. You can see the tiles that are from the expansion have a little mountain symbol at the bottom. That's how you can distinguish them from the base game Cascadia tiles. Some of them are a little harder to see. That one's really easy to see, but like this one also has it. But you can see down there, it's a little bit harder to see on that one. So what should we do? This would still be a good area to put a fox because there's a lot of terrain types that are touching that. So I think that's what we'll do for that. Put our fox there. Just kind of accept the fact that we're not really going to score anything for the bears in this game, because there's really no chance for the bears. So we have 2 turns left in this game. This one and then one more, and then there won't be any tiles to draw. So we'll be done after that. Let's see, what could we do? Now we could score. We could put a bear here, and then that would be no bears around that bear. That would score some points. That would probably be the best move here. So let's go ahead and take score for the 2 largest wetlands corridors. Let's take this one, and we'll put this, because we have a corridor here. And if we put this over here, this would be another 3 corridor. And we'll put the bear there. The eagle goes away. And then this is the final turn, and you can see, like I said, we're kind of right around 20 to 25 minutes with this game of Cascadia. So what do we take as our last animal? Man, that is a tough decision. What helps us out the most here, maybe? You know, I think it might be the fox again. I think we might spin one of these, grab this and grab this, and then put this fox here, because it's going to touch 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of terrain there. So there we go. So that's our final board for this game of Cascadia. And now we move on to scoring the game of Cascadia, which is honestly probably the longest part. So I'll be back in just a second once I've scored this up, and I want you to know what I scored points for and how many we've got and what our final score is. Okay, welcome back. I have finished my scoring for Cascadia using the BG Stats app, which is a fantastic app if you don't have it. It's got score sheets in there. It keeps track of your plays, uploads them to Board Game Geek. It's a great app. It's very well done. I use it to track just about everything. So one thing I did not mention when I started is that in Cascadia Landmarks, just like Cascadia, you've got a bunch of different scenarios and achievements that you can accomplish. We're actually playing scenario number 11 here, which is this setup of cards, and then you have to score 5+ points from landmarks to beat this scenario. So let me explain to you my scoring here for everything. The bears scored 5 points. The elk scored 11 points here. The salmon scored 8 points. The hawks got 14. And the foxes got 16 points. So that was 54 points from the wildlife scoring. Now for the habitat tiles, you score your longest contiguous corridor, if you will. which is a group of connected habitat types. So for the mountains, we had 5 points. For the forest, we had 7. And in the solo game, you get 2 bonus points for each habitat type with a group size of 7 or more. So we got 2 more points for that. The prairies had 3, the wetlands had 5, and the rivers had 0. As you can see, we don't have 2 rivers that are next to each other here. We had 4 nature tokens left at the end of the game. And then scoring for our landmarks, we got 2 points for this card for the Hawks on the Mountains. This got us 8 points for this particular card for the wetlands. And then for the each elk on a forest, we got 3 points. So we finished with a final score of 93. We had to get 85 to beat the scenario. So this scenario is successfully completed. I will mark it in my rule book here and then continue down the path of Cascadia, which is right on this page. Just like in the base game, they've got a page here where you can color in and kind of track all your achievements and the scenarios that you do. So that is a playthrough of Cascadia Landmarks expansion added in, and now I'll give you my review on the expansion and my final thoughts. Okay, you've gotten to take a look at Cascadia now with the Landmarks expansion, what it adds to the game, the more variability that it brings in terms of some different things that you're doing throughout the game of Cascadia, which is a fairly simple game in and of itself. So now I'm going to share with you what I liked and also what I didn't like about this particular expansion for Cascadia. So starting off, my first like for Cascadia Landmarks is that the landmarks make you focus on your habitat more, which is a nice addition. Now, in base Cascadia, you're still trying to focus on your habitat a little bit. That does factor in when you're scoring, but you're mainly focused on the animals in the base game of Cascadia. But with landmarks, you're trying to figure out how can I make it so that I have 5 of the same habitat touching this habitat corridor so that I can get one of these landmark cards, give myself some bonus scoring opportunities at the end of the game. You position things a little bit differently than you do when you're just playing without the landmarks module, and it just gives you some more things to think about. So it makes the strategy a little deeper for a game of Cascadia, which I really enjoy. Another like I have is that there's lots of landmark scoring cards. You know, I showed you a few there, but these decks that come with the game, this is the Prairies one, for example, there's, you know, probably 10, 12 cards in each of these decks that are different ways to, you know, have bonuses happen when you're playing a game of Cascadia with the Landmarks expansion. So those are nice. That's going to give you some variability every game that you play, and that's like that for all the different habitats. So each one has the same amount of cards, and there's a lot of variety there in terms of which 2 you might draw to start the game. And when you're playing solo, you're only going to see 2 of those cards come out every game for each of the different habitats, so it's going to be a while before you roll through all of them and really see all of the different ones that are available to you possibly as some bonus scoring opportunities. Another like that I have is it adds more tiles and more tokens to the game, and that's always nice. The tiles definitely increases the variety a little bit more. The starting tiles give you a little bit of a different feel when you're going to start a game of Cascadia. Also, just the tiles that they've added for this expansion. Most of them are multiple different landscapes that are on those tiles. Some of them have more animals on them. Some have, you know, 3 particular animals on them instead of just 1 or 2. So it gives you more of a variety of where you can put certain animals into which habitats, which I don't know how much that makes sense geographically with where these animals live, but it does a pretty good job of, like, you know, not having the salmon be in the prairie or, you know, something like that, where, you know, that wouldn't really make a lot of sense, or, you know, to have an eagle somewhere that it doesn't make sense, or a hawk in this game. So I like that. I like that it adds that just gives you, again, more things to see throughout the course of playing this game, and gives you some more replayability with the game too. So another really nice thing talking about replayability is the addition of the scenarios and the achievements. That is really nice. You know, in the back of this instruction book, I showed you there at the end of the playthrough, but there's a lot of scenarios and there's a lot of achievements that you can do throughout the game of Cascadia. I mean, there's 20 more scenarios in here. There's 20 more achievements that you can try to complete. So that's a lot of gameplay there. That's, you know, 20 different games of Cascadia if you don't want to just set it up, or it's just a random draw and you kind of want to do certain scoring cards and see how much, you know, if you can beat that target score that it's trying to have you get. that's a nice feature because sometimes these games can get kind of samey, especially with the beat your own score thing. That feels like sometimes there's not a lot of replayability with games that are beat your own score. This is kind of a variation of beat your own score where you're still playing by yourself, obviously, and there's no interaction. There's not a bot or anything in this game, but it gives you a target to reach for. You can say, okay, I need to get this score, and I also need to accomplish this goals. Let's see if I can do that, and kind of chug through this little mini solo campaign, or just a campaign in general, because you can play it multiplayer, but I feel like it probably works best solo, that they've included again with this expansion of Cascadia. So I do have a few dislikes with this expansion of Cascadia. One of them is the fact that these wooden tokens, these landmarks, while cool, are not used very much. And I feel like when this expansion was marketed and when it was advertised, it was showing you pictures of all these, tokens that you get with the game, which are really neat, but you're only, again, using one per category, per game, and especially if you're playing solo, you're only picking this up one time, putting it somewhere in your, building area that you're working on, and then it just sits there, and you're not doing anything else with it throughout the course of the game. It does look cool, and it adds some variety in addition to the, wooden tokens that are obviously included with Cascadia, but I feel like there could have been more of a usability aspect there where you're picking them up and putting them down maybe more, because they are so neat to look at. I just feel like it's kind of a wasted opportunity there to only pick it up once, set it down, and then be done with it for the rest of the game. So my only other dislike with the game is that I feel like it's a little expensive for what you get. This expansion is selling for right around $30 normally, and I feel like in regards to some other expansions that I've reviewed, including the Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion most recently, that one just felt like it had a lot more stuff included for that same price point. And I know it's hard because you've got to make a profit, and I don't know how much this stuff costs to make either. Obviously, this is all, nice stuff, wooden tokens, and the wooden animal tokens, of course, and the thick cardboard for the habitat tiles. So all of that stuff obviously costs money, but I feel like when you compare it to some other expansions that are around that same price point, you're not really getting a ton of additional stuff that you're adding to the base game of Cascadia. In fact, I don't even have the box for this anymore because all the components for the expansion fit in the base game box, which is nice, but that also tells you that there's not that much more added stuff that is included because it's all fitting in that, fairly small box already. So that's kind of a minor complaint there. I feel like if you can get it on sale, or, in that $20 range, that's probably a pretty good price for this, but $30 just feels a little steep for what you get with this expansion. But overall, this expansion does add some more variability, some variety. If you really like Cascadia, this will increase your plays with the game and increase the time that you spend with the game because of those landmarks and the ability to do those different scenarios and the different achievements that you're trying to go after as well. So overall, I like this expansion. I don't know if Cascadia will get more expansions. Obviously, they're coming out with the roll and write version of Cascadia that I'm interested to see kind of how that works. I think that'll be out later this year. So I don't know if they're done adding things to, OG Cascadia or if there's more in store, but that's my thoughts on Cascadia Landmarks. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel out. You can check out other reviews that I have, some other list videos as well, and I also have a playthrough I did of Resist if you want more playthroughs. So check that out. This channel is just kind of starting, but it's been really cool to see the growth over the past couple of months as you have been watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. So I really appreciate all of that. That is really great. I'm really enjoying making these videos so far. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jared. You've been checking out Specifically Solo.